And of course, listen to episodes and stream them right off the website. But I'm guessing you've already figured out how to download a podcast, and you probably downloaded us from somewhere else. If that place happens to be iTunes, do take the time to leave a comment and a rating.
Do it.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
We are available on a ton of other sources for streaming. So whichever one you use, I'm going to guess we're on there at this point.
Yeah.
So you can find us on there. We of course have the Facebook page and the Facebook group. So you can find us, friend us, like us. We have conversations with folks, put up interesting stuff. It's good times. I had a huge conversation with people yesterday.
Oh my God, yeah, he did. I checked the email account and I was like, what? 15 new emails? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It turns out Steve is in the group for like an hour and a half, just
That's
chatting
all it
with
takes.
people.
Yeah.
We also have a Twitter account, so we are thinking sideways without the G in the middle.
If you go check it out this week,
So hip.
which is going to be like a couple weeks ago at this point, you can see my photos from the Denver airport. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with an upcoming show. Spoilers alert.
And most importantly, of course, we have our email. You can send us an email at thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. So if you got ideas for stories, you've got just general feedback, or you just want to fanboy, fangirl out, go ahead and send us an email at that address. We have also started looking for some expert help, I think is what we're calling
we have actually had a huge outpouring of
support.
I
help.
guess people
Yeah.
saying, yeah, I'm an expert in this thing. So if you are an expert and you haven't yet emailed us, or even just like an armchair expert, or you think you might know something about a thing, just let us know. We are kind of collecting that list. We're reaching out to people, trying to...
Basically, there are details that we don't know, and sometimes we think we figured it out, but it's always nice to bounce that off of somebody who actually knows about that subject.
Yeah, as I like to say, the longer we do this, the more we realize we don't really know anything about anything.
Some things, yeah.
We know some things about some things, and we just want to make sure that our podcast and we are as informed as possible.
And we get it right.
Yeah, so if you
don't
know
want something
something
wrong.
about something, send us an email
Yep.
and we'll add you to the list.
Put expert in the subject line, please.
And I will get it.
Yep, and then we'll take care of that.
Yeah, we're looking for chupacabra experts.
Yeah,
actually.
no,
We
the
haven't
only thing I will say about the experts is we've said this before, but if you want to help out, please understand that we typically need a couple of day turnaround on response. So if you're gonna sit on an email, you don't check your email but once every couple of weeks or whatever the case may be, or if you don't think you have the time, we appreciate the thought, but just don't sign up, because we're gonna try and get really quick responses.
Yeah.
Always a good idea.
Yep. And
Because we do our research the last minute.
I wouldn't say we do all of our research at the last minute as much as we are researching up to the last minute.
Yeah, we realize we
Typically.
don't know something at the last minute.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Hey, quick, can you Google that?
Ah, crap.
Oh, right. What's Wikipedia say? All right.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. We're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for listening to us to this time, and we will talk to you again next week.
Yeah, mystery solved.
Bye, guys.
That's Toodaloo. Oh, and by the way, in case, don't take that the wrong way. She wasn't really saying she's a prostitute.
Thank you, Joe. That's not what I meant. I meant I'm a single female. It's
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm a female.
And besides, if any of you getting any ideas here, she's well armed. Don't even try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys.
Armed to the teeth.
This episode of Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by the battle cry of seagulls. Instead, it's brought to you by CrimeCon. That's right, CrimeCon is happening again this year on May 4th through 6th, 2018 in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be at the Gaylord Opryland. We're going to be there. A whole bunch of other podcasts are going to be there. A whole bunch of other famous TV personalities are going to be there. And you should really be there. We are going to have a live show on Saturday. So come and see us then. We'll release a time ahead of time once we've completely firmed that up. We're also doing a meetup that night, Saturday night. time and venue to be released, and there might even be a special surprise in there, but we're not going to tell you that now. So you have to come and see it, and we will see you at CrimeCon. This episode is also brought to you by Stitcher Premium.
Yay!
So if you go to Stitcher.com/thinking-sideways, you can sign up for Stitcher Premium using the promo code SIDEWAYS, and you get 1 month free. And the joy of Stitcher Premium is, of course, that you're going to get episodes 4 days early. You're going to get them ad-free, and we are putting out monthly bonus content on Down the Rabbit Hole. So all kinds of extra stuff available there for you. So Stitcher.com/thinking-sideways, promo code SIDEWAYS.
Thinking Sideways.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways, the podcast. I am Devin, joined as always by
Joe.
and
Steve.
apparently I'm saying it for them now.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about a not true crime mystery, or I guess maybe a true crime mystery.
It
but
was
probably
an attempted murder,
Yeah, maybe.
but on a bigger scale.
On a gigantic
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah, on kind of like a bludgeon cudgel scale, not like
Global
a
scale?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, yeah.
Not a stabbing. No,
Mm-mm.
it was blunt force trauma.
We're going to talk about the Tunguska event, and this was originally suggested by Joseph way back in 2015, which kind of seems like it was just yesterday, but that was a long time ago.
It kind of was. I know.
I gotta be honest with you, I kind of thought we had covered this story.
No.
No, we haven't.
I've read enough about this, and this seems just kind of our bag back in the day when we were doing the 25-minute episodes. I'm like, we totally must have covered that one already.
No,
Oh my
afraid
God,
not.
it's not on the list.
No.
No. Yeah, sorry.
It's
No.
weird.
We didn't do it.
No,
We're going to
not
right
yet.
now, though.
We've been planning
Think
on
it'd
it
be
for a
longer
long
than 25
time.
minutes?
Maybe. Probably not much longer, though.
No, okay.
Sorry, everyone. No, you like those long ones, but it's not going to be this one.
No, actually, this particular event has been thoroughly explored by some
has.
very credible scientists.
It has.
And-
Yeah.
Not so credible scientists.
Yeah.
Well, no, some credible, some not.
Yeah,
But, you know,
some of both.
yeah.
So if you are unfamiliar with the Tunguska event, it happened 110 years ago
That's right.
in June of 1908, the 30th of June to be exact. A huge explosion.
So big, the H isn't even pronounceable.
Isn't even pronounceable
It's
anymore.
huge.
Yeah. A huge explosion rocked the isolated area of Siberia
Well,
called...
the isolated area of Siberia, like there,
No, no,
is
no.
there a not isolated?
No, I'm
area
sorry.
of
It's a
Siberia?
specific isolated area,
Even more
not
isolated?
No, it's not even more. It's just
Okay.
one of the isolated areas because all of Siberia.
Pick a
is
point in
Alright.
Siberia, it's isolated.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting
But
at.
this one has a
so.
name. It's called Yeniskisk Government, now called something else that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. That was pretty close.
Okay.
This event took place close to the Stony Tunguska River, which is apparently the only way to identify things out there.
Yeah.
So it is called the Tunguska event, even though Tunguska isn't a place.
Actually, yeah, there is a town called Tunguska, but it's not exactly where the event took place.
Yeah,
but
it's 100 miles away or something.
yeah, it's
I'm also
well
not-
south of there. Yeah.
I don't know, you might know this,
Yeah.
when that became a place,
That I could not tell
and
you
if it
either.
became a place after
It
this
might
event.
have.
In memoriam,
Oh, but
recognition.
But also, by the way, this place does show up. The actual crater, the impact site does show up on Google Maps. if
Yeah.
you look.
Well, the event area,
There's a little.
I think is
yeah.
what we'll call it.
Yeah, I mean it's marked on Google. It's like you can't actually see the
can
actual
see it on-
effects
They've
of it.
drawn a line around it.
You can see
Yeah,
it on Google
yeah.
Earth, though.
Yeah,
Yeah. Super, super isolated place.
yeah.
Like we said, it's Siberia. To this day, no one really knows what caused the explosion. The explosion was so big that it blew the H off of it. So
Yeah, it was big. You
Yeah.
know, hundreds of square miles of
Yeah.
devastation.
it was.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, but just quickly, it's not a little ears warning. I just want to mention that at this time in Russia, Julian, thank you, calendar, I was like, wait, Gregorian? No, that's the one we're on
No.
now. So a lot of the eyewitness accounts and things you'll read say that it happened on June 17th, not June 30th. But I just want to get this out of the way so we're not getting emails from people who are like, you dummy.
Well, I know it's hard
It's
to
actually the
imagine.
30th.
We're so used to having one calendar. There's even people today that are under different calendars. But the Gregorian calendar started in, I believe, was it 1582 when Pope Gregory the 13th decided to knock 11 days off of October because apparently people thought October was getting too good of a deal.
Yeah, I guess.
So they took 11 days out, and so everything kind of shifted, and so, but not everybody shifted to the Gregorian calendar.
Right away,
So
at least.
Yeah, no, the
exactly,
calendar's
yeah.
been moved around a couple of times. I know there was at some point that the Russian people were on a different calendar that had them 2 or 3,000 years ahead of the rest of the world. As in, everybody said, it's 1902, and they're like, nope, it's 6205. Like, there was just this weird, I don't know the exact numbers, but they did it a number of times. They shifted their calendar. It makes it super confusing.
Well, actually, we are reaching that point in our society where there's going to be enough Trekkies out there. They'll take over Congress and probably the White House, and it's going to be star dates, like star date 2307 or something
Yeah.
like that here pretty quick.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to start putting it in your diary then.
Anyway, let's
sorry,
maybe get
go
back to
ahead.
this.
Yeah.
We're way off track already.
We are going to make this more than 25 minutes no matter what.
You sure are. I'm really sorry, everyone else.
Yeah, apologies.
As mentioned, the morning of the 30th of June 1908, an explosion that modern-day scientists estimate was anywhere from 15 to 20 megatons, caused about 770 square miles, which is about 2,000 square kilometers, of trees to just blow right over. For those of us who have to look this sort of thing up, the atomic bomb that we set off in Hiroshima was about 15 kilotons, which means that...
Kilo and not mega, right?
Yeah, so that means that the blast was, at this estimate, at minimum 1,000 times more powerful than that atomic bomb, which is pretty powerful in 1908. Also, reportedly, though the blast completely flattened all of the trees, there were officially no reported deaths of humans.
Well, that's because the bodies were actually underneath the trees. They should have looked under the trees.
Yeah.
The reindeer just didn't report in.
Actually,
Yeah.
the reindeer did die a lot of
Yeah,
Sure,
a lot of
sure.
A
that
lot
didn't
of
report in.
wildlife did, yeah, but no humans, specifically because of the blast. At about 7 a.m. local time, natives and Russian settlers in the area reported seeing a bluish column of light, nearly as bright as the sun, streaking through the sky. About 10 minutes later, a very loud boom, it's kind of an understatement, a very loud boom, was heard, and a shockwave powerful enough to knock people to the ground and shatter windows was felt hundreds of miles and kilometers away, both. And most of the eyewitness reports actually came from towns that are hundreds of miles away, but felt shockwaves that they liken to tremors or earthquakes. And it is actually estimated that many of those tremors were
Equivalent to?
Yeah, equivalent to about a 5.0 earthquake. So it was not nothing.
Not a little
No.
thing.
No,
it was not.
That's a pretty big shake of the earth. The explosion also caused some interesting atmospheric phenomenon, including reports that the night sky in Asia and Europe had a glowy quality to them. That is the technical term.
Well, it's kind of like Aurora Borealis.
That was where I was going to ask.
No, more like glowy, not like lights, kind of just like a shimmery iridescence to
Okay.
it.
Glowing in the dark kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Some people reported that the blast sound they heard sounded like it moved east to north, but I don't know if that really matters. And also, those people's positions aren't really specified, so I don't know how helpful that is.
It probably changes depending on where vantage point is.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I would assume. This area of Siberia is so remote that it took more than a decade for the first investigators to come and try to figure out what exactly had happened. Actually, the Russian Civil War was also happening during this time, so it took almost 2 decades. It wasn't until 1927 that an exploration made it out there.
Yeah, I think this guy, what's his name? Leonid Kulik?
Yeah.
Kulik? Yeah, apparently he'd been out there 6 years earlier on some unrelated matter. He'd heard all these stories of this big, huge kaboom.
He was a mineralist.
Yeah.
So he was going out, his job was basically
find minerals.
So his job was to go out and find minerals.
Yeah, for the Glorious Revolution.
Right, and
Yeah.
you do that mostly in kind of isolated areas
Like Siberia.
like Siberia.
Yeah. So he was out looking, and all these natives kept saying, "Yeah, there was this really enormous streak in the sky, and then this enormous kaboom."
Giant boom.
Yeah, and so it took him like 6 years, I think, to actually get the resources to come back and mount an expedition.
It actually took him a really long time to, I don't know, probably kind of lie and convince his way, because the Soviet government at the time is actually what bankrolled his first expedition.
Yeah.
And I think what he said was he was sure that it was a meteorite and
Yeah.
that he was going to find meteoric iron here.
And maybe some
And maybe
fancy,
some-
of them fancy pants things they call rare earths or something
Yeah,
like that.
stuff
you know?
that was definitely going to further the cause of the Soviet government. So he basically said, "Hey, if you guys pay for me to go out and do this, I'll come back with a lot of really fancy, expensive, really worthwhile stuff."
Plus, if I screw it up, I'll already be in Siberia. You won't need to
Yeah,
ship me out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Yeah.
yeah. That didn't go so well, but we'll talk about that in a little bit too.
Oh,
When the expedition first arrived in the area, they asked some local tribe hunters to take them to the impact site, or what they were assuming would be an impact site of some kind. This proved challenging because the tribe believed that this whole event was actually a punishment sent down from a god.
AKA, we're not going there.
Yeah. There was also some talk of some kind of boogeyman creature that might live in that area too.
yeah, I heard the story. I heard is that the initial party went out, and the guys, like, before they got to the impact site, spooked and left because of that scary boogeyman kind of creature.
Yeah.
And they had to go back to town.
Just a really long, arduous task to get out.
It was a giant cluster.
Yeah, it was. It really was. When the expedition did finally reach the center, the epicenter of this explosion event, whatever,
They found a note.
they found a note. And it said,
No,
"Love,
it
Choopy."
Yeah.
Just kidding. They did not, they really were expecting a crater because they thought, oh, a meteor hit and we're going to
Of
get
course.
some really cool rare earth whatevers, as
Not to
previously
mention
mentioned.
some really awesome pictures.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. But when they got there, actually, they were really surprised to see that actually what was there was just kind of a giant ground zero area where instead of the giant hole they were expecting to see, there was actually a 5-mile patch of pretty undisturbed trees.
Well, I think they were disturbed.
They were disturbed, but they were still standing.
Yeah, I think their branches
They
were
weren't
gone.
flattened
Yeah.
and completely mowed
They
down.
were burned. They were scorched. Their branches were, for the most part, gone. But you will remember that 700 square miles around this patch of 5-mile wide trees that are standing, everything was just flattened.
Can I stop for a second and just consider how difficult it must have been to walk and travel
Yeah.
through
With all those trees
all of
knocked
that
down?
area. I mean, you think, well, I'm just walking through the forest. It's no
No.
big deal. But no, every tree is on the ground, and you can't take probably 2 steps with having to walk on and over a giant tree trunk.
I can't imagine how, because when I go out in the woods, and I go through some area, some region where there's a lot of blowdowns, some storms or whatever. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Logging,
it's just
yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
It's just, I start getting kind of.
You think about how slow you go.
Oh yeah. It's
Now
just,
think
it's-
about these guys
yeah.
that are a party. It's not like they're taking their supplies with them, so it's not as if their horses could get through the area.
Oh, no.
Or at least not easily. I mean, that's just a hell of a trek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a long one. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
just anyway, it was tough. As mentioned, we were talking about this stand of trees that somehow still
The
existed.
5-mile.
Yeah, and the pattern that group established for the blast is actually accurate somehow. They were right in this, and they call it kind of an eagle. It's kind of swoopy.
Wing.
Did you guys get to see it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I've seen it also described. It took me a while to figure it out, but I've seen it also described as a butterfly or
Yeah.
moth pattern.
Yeah.
Because it's got kind of the big lobes at the top and then the little lobes on the
Littler.
bottom. On
But
either
it's not
side.
just a circle
Right.
Yeah.
or anything like that.
That's what I'd always, until we started researching it, I always thought it was just a big circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, not at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's modernly estimated that this blast toppled more than 80 million trees, though I don't know about that, and I've never seen the
Where that
reasoning
number came
behind
from?
that. Yeah, basically.
Probably aerials. They probably just took an aerial mile and just took one teeny
Counted
square
it.
and counted the trees and multiplied it by X. You know,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
During the expedition, Kulik found what are now called pothole bogs, but at the time he thought they were meteorite holes, though they were too deep for him to excavate, which, okay. He was going out there with the sole purpose to excavate minerals, but fine, whatever.
If you watch if you see some of the footage of them, they have standard spades.
Yeah.
They don't have any kind of equipment to suck water out of